Hey there, campers. While we're gathering around the campfire, we just want to let you know we are not what you would call experts. What we do have is a love for researching and discussing the lore of cryptids, creatures,
and an occasional spooky woman that can eat our soul.
So if you are in need of immediate help with the chupacabra in your yard, please consult someone else.
Also, this podcast isn't for kids. These campfire stories can contain graphic and explicit content that may not be suitable for young campers, so listener discretion is advised. Hey campers, my name's Kimmy, and I'm here with my co-host Ryan.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Aloreing, our folklore podcast, where we tell you the history and stories of different legends, lore, sometimes other stuff from all around the world.
And oh boy,
Kimmy
I just
always
realized
tries to guess what I'm gonna say with her hands, so I like to throw wild cards in during the intro just to
then
throw
I
her off.
just look like I may be having a stroke. It's fine. It's you should not be messing with me today. Today is not the day.
Or it is the day.
God, man. I just realized I don't have a mug for my adult beverage, so I'll just cover it with a print or something in the thing. I don't think it's bad.
It's fine now. Who cares?
It's fine. Yeah. I feel like it's so weird in the generation we grew up. Yeah, I was like, for like Edgar's birthday, we went and hung out with some of his friends, and they were watching podcasts, and it was just like white guys drinking all these branded beers, and I was like, I think I could drink a beer.
That's what us white guys like to do is drink branded beers.
It's okay. I drink branded seltzers, so
yeah.
I'm really fitting into the bi stereotype every day.
Stones at glass house,
which is fine. You know? So let's get into this. Ryan, what did you find? Oh, so Aloreing this week.
So I don't remember if I said it on the episode, but on our last recording, we ended and I full sprinted out of the podcast because I needed to catch a movie that started in 10 minutes. And that movie was the new Scream movie, which was solid. But then I haven't watched the Scream movie in when did the last one come out? 2011. So 12 years. And I was like, I don't remember a single damn thing about the old movies. So I rewatched every single Scream movie this week, which
Holy shit.
6 of them. It was a lot. I remembered how much I liked them.
Oh my gosh.
Week. Yeah.
Wow, I could probably emotionally handle one.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
They're not that long. They're an hour and a half. So I'm studying for my A+ right now for IT stuff. And then so I'd take a quiz and then watch a movie, and then take a quiz and then watch a movie. So it was a nice breakup from, crying over practice tests.
You went from real life stress of expectations to fantasy stress of survival.
Yeah. I think you would like Scream personally because they're more murder mysteries than they are horror movies. Because the whole time you're trying to figure out who the killer is.
Okay.
There is also slasher stuff in it, but mostly it's who could it be,
Ooh, okay. That's the really fun thing about starting the other podcast with you. It's because here's the truth. I've always wanted, and I've talked to you about it. Anyway, I've always wanted to watch horror movies.
Yeah.
But the reason I have it is I didn't have the greatest relationships with humans growing up. Like, me and my family solid, right? But I just knew some weird people growing up in Utah County. And I used to always get made fun of for getting scared. And I just get like jump scared really easy.
Yeah.
And I don't like gore, which I don't feel are weird things to not be okay with.
Reasonable things to not like.
Right. So I would always get like ridiculed for it. So I'm like, I don't want to watch a scary movie with people that are just going to make fun of me for it. And now I'm like, you know, scary movies are actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, you watched X, which is like the goriest movie I've seen in a while. And you're okay. Here you are. So
my first slasher was like the most intense.
Scream is not gory at all. It's just bloody and jump scares. But anyway,
I'm excited for that.
That's a whole nother podcast. What did you find Aloreing this week?
Man, I don't have it. I will. Everyone, you gotta stay tuned to our Patreon videos that I'm making. I have created a mini felt Mothman the size of your hand. And he looks like chaos. I was working on one of the videos for our Patreon ads, which is him in front of fire saying donate today. And that's the whole ad.
I love it so much. It's so adorable. You don't have it with you?
I don't, man. Because I always edit these before I post them.
Yeah.
So for everyone watching on YouTube, I'll put like a little picture. There he is. Look at him.
Wow.
But the best part about that is I was like, I want to make a felt Mothman. I don't think it will be hard. And Edgar was just like, let me see how it turns out.
Yeah.
Because I like to do crafty projects with no idea how to like start it. And literally I was like, oh, it's just like a paper craft. And I made one first try and have a pattern of it and it looks solid. So
that was a first try?
First try.
Wow. That's honestly impressive.
I had like line sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And I was like, because back in high school, the only other time I've like sewed a toy together was like the frog you make in sewing class. And because I sculpt and stuff, I know how to use clay and everything. So I was like, maybe it's like the same thing where I just put like 3 shapes together. And I put 3 shapes together and it was done. And it was great. So I don't know. That's my Aloreing thing is I'm way more crafty than I thought. And I have no idea how to make a transition out of that for you. So good luck. I don't know. He was chaotic. He looks like pure chaos. Does that give you something?
That's too easy.
That's too easy. His eyes are filled with the hatred of being underpaid in this economy.
There we go. You know who else is underpaid in this economy? Is this week's folklore. And once I pull my soundboard up that I definitely didn't forget, we're going to cue those campfire sounds.
Okay.
I was hoping you'd say little guy, so I could be like, you know, who else is a little guy? But you know, sometimes you set up transitions in your head, and you just sit there hoping it comes, and it doesn't come, and that's okay.
Expectation versus reality. We got period brain Kimmy today, so you guys, we are not going to be on the same wavelength at all.
When night falls upon the homestead, and the whole family is fast asleep in their beds, a household spirit starts to roam, doing chores, protecting the family, and watching over the home. That is a poem by none other than Kimmy herself. Wow.
Woo. Wow, thanks.
So beautiful. What are we talking about?
It's so hard to find poems, you guys.
Yeah, we've been doing some obscure ones lately.
Like, everyone's like, oh, Kimmy's just talented in everything and writing her own poems. Yeah. No, I put 2 sentences and do the most basic rhyming word at the end. Because I can't find shit. So here we are.
It turns out 44 episodes into a folklore podcast, you start needing to do some less known ones.
People are just voting for niche topics.
Yeah.
Like the next two we have stuff for, but this one I was like, I don't know,
There's only
Chief.
so many Mothmen out there, you know? Like,
So
anyway.
many. So, when resting at night, the sounds of the floorboards creaking and objects shuffling fill the silence. But don't fear. First thought may be there's an intruder or even a poltergeist around. But I'm here to tell you that it may be something that means no harm. There is a chance it's a wee house spirit running around and compelling some housework. Not compelling, completing
I mean,
some
it is
housework.
also compelling housework.
It is.
Like,
Let me zoom in a little.
Yeah,
My old eyes.
is a bit compelling.
A little bit. And the little wee folk is helping take care of the home while the family rest. So here is the lovely illustration for all of our amazing audio listeners. If you want to check out the illustration for this episode, go to our website, aloreing.com, check out our blog, or go to our Instagram. I think I post all these on Pinterest too, but I never know when those get out, so don't trust that one. Oh, and come watch it on our YouTube.
Yeah.
But if not, this week we will be talking about the hardworking Domovoi. These house spirits were a major part of peasant life during the Middle Ages and continue to be told in legends to this very day. And I thought you would like him because he looks like a little.
That's just me.
He looks like a cap. He looks like a mini Ryan sleeping in a jar.
Now I have a question right off the bat because I've been reading it as Domovoi all day, so that's what I'm gonna be saying. So I don't know the correct pronunciation, so we may be pronouncing it differently. Once again, very broad. Turns out you can't just Google Domovoi translation on Google. I tried.
Yeah,
and
no,
it said dumb, and it was not in English, so it was very hard to understand.
And it's like faster for some reason when you try to listen to it.
Yeah, and I listen to Google Translate.
No, I listened to like a few different versions, and I have no idea. Like, y'all, I'm trying my best. And the thing is, I feel Slavic words are either you get them right off the bat or not in this lifetime. There's like no in between. So.
That being said, I will be calling him a little guy quite often because that's a lot easier to say.
A wee folk.
Yeah.
So, legends of the Domovoi have been around for centuries and are believed to have originated in pre-Christian Slavic mythology during the 6th century CE. You already pointing in your answer?
Oh, yeah.
So, though it is difficult to pinpoint the exact moment these creatures appeared, there are a few different theories as to how they came to be. So, again, I got some Slavic words in here, so brace yourself, everybody. One belief is that the corpse of Domovoi staged a revolt against Slarog when the universe was created. Slarog drove them from his realm, whereupon they were thrown from the skies and fell onto the earth. Some of these spirits happened to land in human dwellings, and over time they grew to like people. Oh. They even became less evil and started to care for the homes and the people they lived with. But they were still quite mischievous and would cause chaos when they were not adequately honored or treated with disrespect. So that's the main belief for them. The next one is that they are the souls of one or all of the deceased family members of the home. So these creatures were deeply rooted in the religious belief system of the Slavic people and had strong links to ancestor worship. When they passed, these souls would then watch over the family and the homes. To honor this, house gods were represented by the Slavics as statues made of clay or stone, which is what this beautiful, chaotic little image is. Where was I? Which were at first placed in niche areas of that house's doors and later on the mantelpieces above the ovens. That's because these wee folk were known to live in the... Man, Chris, I'm sorry. I'm just going to start a good chunk of that. Hearth. Okay. To honor this household god, Ryan. Wow, this is peak period brain. Okay. To honor this, household gods were represented by the Slavics as statues made of clay or stone, which were at first placed in niche areas near the house's door, and later on the mantelpieces above the ovens. That's because the Domovoi is known to live in the hearth or behind the stove. The house dwellers would also take great care to not disturb the smoldering remains of a fire to help keep their ancestors from falling through the grates. Oh. So it's really cute. I think this is a very cute legend about caring for your house spirits. So the first one, they get banished from the realm.
Yeah,
and
not as
they care for, which not as cute, but to be fair, they were revolting. So
yeah, you know, well,
it's a very one-sided history story. And then the next one, they're just like your family watching over you. So regardless of what the true origins of them are, it was believed that every peasant's home had one. It was also common knowledge that the wheat folk would express itself in a few different house spirits, since each of these spirits served in different parts of the home. So this is where it got kind of confusing, because think of Domovoi as like, and I'm going to say it completely different each time I say it, so everyone just buckle up. If there's a D and an O sound, that's the creature I'm talking about. Think of it kind of like how fairies is like a general category, and then there's like subs to it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, all the other spirits are still the Domovoi, from what I understood, because it was a lot of old language translated through Google. So this is where we are. Do you want to popcorn it? Because there's a few. You can go first, because I want to drink.
All right. First we have Bannock. This is the spirit that lives in the bathhouse, and people avoid taking baths at night because if they do, the Bannock will suffocate and drown them. Especially, and this is the right here, if they haven't prayed first. Now, I for one have never prayed before a bath. So maybe that's something you should think about.
He's just like behind your like monstera in your bathroom, and he just like peeks out, and then you do like a quick pray, soon. And he like he looks at you, goes soon, and goes back behind the plant. The next one is Domovoi Laska, and this is the one that lives in the yard, known as the yard dweller.
Then we have the Ovanik, which this one lives in the barn and the backyard, aka the barn dweller, who will bury you in manure if you don't pray first, I believe.
All of them, if you don't pray. No.
Yeah, the last one, the yard dweller, will just bury you, period.
They won't hide behind a plant. They're not waiting. They'll just do it. And then the next are two very similar ones. It's the Vasila. I said that very Brazilian, so I know that's wrong. Vasila. And that's a house spirit that protects the horses of the barn.
In a horse, if you don't pray.
Opens the horse up.
Yeah, it's crazy. You should see it.
Magic. And then the next one is the Bagan, which is a house spirit that protects goats and cows in the barn. So both of them can be seen sleeping in a crib during the night. So that's when they'll go in the house.
Doesn't bury you, or he doesn't really care if you pray or not. He's just chill.
No, because he's with the animals all day. He doesn't need people interaction.
Oh, and I got the last one. Then the female counterpart is known as the Dominia, which that's quite the name.
It's like another word for dominatrix.
That's what I was just right there. That's what I was thinking. It's like a dominatrix, Domovia.
I saw it in your eyes. I saw it be like, are you sure that's what it's supposed to be?
That's not what it was in Kimmy's drawing.
Subscribe to our Patreon now.
That's a different
Oh my goodness. So the word Domovoi, also spelled like Domovoi, or has a J at the end instead of a Y or an I. Um, it's derivative from the word dom,
Mm,
meaning house,
mm,
Ryan.
mm.
Literally means master of the house.
Okay.
That ain't. See, there was a little dance there for
There
a
was a
second. You
dance, yeah.
don't quite know. This creature is also known by slightly different names in various Slavic languages. Here's a handy dandy list of a few of them I found, and I am realizing through the period fog that they're just all the ones I just said.
Yeah.
So we're just
So
going to skip
Domovic
that.
is Ukrainian. Damovic with an A is Belarusian. And then Domovoi with a J and a Y, unknown origins.
Yeah. And now you know all about its origins and what they go by. So I'm going to hand it over to Ryan to tell you some stories about these wee
And
folks.
let me just tell you, Kimmy, there were thousands of stories about the Domovoi, right? Just so many out there. It was actually kind of crazy.
There was I had a note, but I'll say it now. Like I actually had a really difficult time for this section because there were a lot of stories, but they were all like full on fantasy books. Like
Yeah.
chapters and chapters. And normally I look for like little short fairy tales or things I can summarize. And I didn't have time to read a whole book about anything. So um I did want to take this moment. Huge shout out to Kelsey from Fairy Tale Fix because she is
Yes.
a gem. Since we
Mm-hmm.
did the promo swap, not promo, episode swap with them, she will get panicked messages from me at weird hours of the day. Like, do you have a fairy tale for this weird niche creature? And bless her heart, because she's always like, let me look. And the next day she's like, I couldn't find anything. Or she's like, here's like 7. And which just saves my ass. So go check out their
Yeah.
stuff.
Shout out.
But she couldn't even find anything that was just like
Yeah.
short stories. She's
Which
like, I
that's
don't know how
saying
you found
something if she
anything.
can't find something, because, yeah. Well,
So,
anyway.
so everything I found was from short, very short blurbs, and I did fluff up some of them. So creative liberty has
Yeah.
been taken.
So this first one is from the Encyclopedia of Russian and Slavic Myth and Legends, which by an author I would not expect to write an encyclopedia of Russian and Slavic myths and legends. Mike Dixon Kennedy. What a shout out. All right. So there were once 2 peasants who were neighbors and lived next to each other. One of the neighbors' horses were always well fed and well groomed, whereas the other neighbor's horses were always sickly and thin. Wishing to find out why his horses were so much more fine than those of his neighbors, fine as in like tiny, the peasant hid at night and caught the domovoi grooming, feeding, and watering his horses from a large water casket in the yard. The following day, not wanting his drinking water supply to be contaminated by an ugly spirit, rude, he asked his jealous neighbor what he should do. The neighbor knew that the domovoi was surely helping this lucky fellow and keen to see him reduced to the same terms as himself. He suggested that the man drill a large hole in the cask. He could then plug the hole during the day but let the water out at night. The man foolishly followed this advice, and when the domovoi came to water the horses that night, he found the cask empty. Enraged, he smashed the stables to pieces and killed the horses. So, don't get in their way, I guess, is the moral of that story.
I think a better moral is if you're going to be racist to people that are helping you.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, yeah.
Because when he said ugly spirit, I knew exactly what his
Yeah.
thought process was.
So these are some very short stories. Do you want me to read your little note? Well, I guess we kind of already went over that.
Oh,
Okay.
I just read it.
All right. So this one.
So we're good.
Well, first off, would you like to be blue or green in this first story?
Um, I'll be blue because that looks a little easier on me.
All right. So this is called The Devil in the Stove. There was a hut in which no one would live, for the children of everyone who had inhabited it had died, and so it remained empty. But at last there came a man who was very poor, and he entered the hut and said,
Good day. To whom is in this house?
"What dost thou want?" cried the old one.
I am poor. I have neither roof nor courtyard.
Sadly said the newcomer. "Live here," said the old one. "Only tell thy wife to grease the stove every week and look after the children, that thou might lie down upon it." So the poor man settled in that hut and lived in it peacefully with all his family. And one evening, when he had been complaining about his poverty, the old one took a whole potful of money out of the stove and gave it to him. So they're not always bad guys. You be chill to them. You grease their stove once a week, and they let you live there. They give you money. So shout out.
Well, he didn't even do anything. That was all his wife.
Yeah, well, yeah, fair. We're seeing a common theme here of people just being lazy and
yeah. So he's not even doing anything to contribute to this.
yeah.
He's like, have your wife take care of everything. Just chill, you know? And then he's like, you know what? You know how I'm not doing anything and I'm poor? That kind of sucks. And it's like, no.
Yeah, we got
I got you.
As long as your wife keeps greasing that stove, you're good to go. All right. This one's called The House on Fire. Once upon a time, a servant maid awoke one morning, lighted the fire, and went for her bucket to fetch water. But not a bucket was to be seen. So she started the fire. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Again, translation, word.
This is translated into English. So it seems like by light of the fire, it means like she saw a fire.
Correct. That's what I assumed.
Of course, she thought a neighbor's taking care of them. Out she ran to the river, and there she saw the Domovoi, a little old man in a red shirt who was drawing water in her buckets to give the bay mare to drink. And he glared ever so at the girl. His eyes burned just like live coals. She was terribly frightened and ran back again. But at home there was woe. All the house was ablaze. So in this one, the Domovoi just decided to burn someone's house down.
No, he just decided not to help in putting out the fire.
I think that his eyes burned like live coals kind of hinted at maybe he lit the house on fire for some reason.
These stories are a lot like interpretive dance, folks.
Yeah.
Like, we're really just trying to figure out what the fuck's
work with me, people. Your guess is as good as mine at what these stories
There was a fire. The passion of 1,000 suns in his eyes at one point, and a house burned down.
Yeah.
But the horse was taken care of. So whatever conclusion that comes to you. That's it.
This next one is called Pranking the Cat. So one day when the Domovoi had caught up with a cat, he flung it on the ground. And the housewife said to him, "Why did you do that? Is this the way to manage a house? Why can't get on without our cat? A pretty manager, forsooth." Again, I don't know what that means. From time to time, the Domovoi gave up troubling the cat. This feels like it was written by an AI. Like, I know it's just translated. So what happened in that story is the Domovoi got really tired of the house cat and just decided, I'm taking this thing out. But the lady who lived there was like, "Don't kill my cat. That's not cool." And the Domovoi was like, "All right, you're right. My bad." And that's the end of that story. Oh, these make last week's stories seem like gold.
Man, it was so... Ryan, I need to show you the webpage I pulled these from because it's just a wall of text. Hours and hours. It's a wall of text, and they like wrote like they were trying to source things between it. And it was the stories, but there was no sources to the stories.
Yeah.
And all the sources were books in like old Russian. And I was like,
here's a book from 1547 written in a dead language, translated into Russian, and then translated into English.
I like opened the browser tab and dust popped out from my computer. You guys. These stories are more for good time this week.
Believe it or not, like the dial-up sound started when you open the website for just some reason.
My computer became a Dell for some reason. A home phone appeared out of nowhere. It was really weird, you guys.
Speaking of terrible translations, this next one's called The Lost Color Cows. So work with me, people. All right. One day, there was a peasant who purchased some new horses, not cows. He delightfully led them to his barn, took great care of them, and then went on to take his leave for the evening after a hard day of work. The next morning, he woke up and was shocked to see they were no longer in the stable. The man searched all day and night, but alas, he couldn't find the horses. The man needed the horse to help with chores, but had no more funds to purchase another. However, he did have enough to purchase a hack, which I believe is a cow.
I don't know. Some said cow, some said a horse. I don't know.
It's probably like what are the like an ox? I think it's like an ox.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. Someone in the medieval ages that's listening to the podcast right now is screaming out.
When the world like circles back around, like like it's obviously an ox. Come on. So the poor man bought himself what we believe is a colorful cow and brought it back to the barn. Still disappointed about all the new horses that were now lost. That's when he heard a small voice perk up. What's a horse? There's something like a horse, quite different from the others, exclaimed a delighted Domovoi. Look at the color of it. The hack apparently was the hue of a Domovoi's favorite color, and since that day, everything went well for the peasant and the animals returned to the barn. So if someone steals all of your horses, just buy one in a color they like, and they'll be like, all right, we'll keep this one.
Like, yep.
Yeah. So that is all we have. I'm so sorry, dear listeners. Again, work with me on this one. If you have any idea what the house on fire or the pranking the cat one was talking about, please let us know on social media, because I would sure like to know.
Comment what you think the moral of those stories were.
Yeah.
Because there can be no wrong answer at this point. Like the last story you just read, the lost colored cows,
it wasn't even about cows. It was about horses.
And it was 3 sentences long. So I was just like, well, obviously I'm going to add a few things. And the 3 of the sentences, one of them was his quote. So
yeah.
The other 2, I had no idea, so I couldn't even add on to that. I was like, you know what? God's going to take the wheel on that.
And he sure did. You know what else he takes the wheel of? And that's our sponsors. All right. Bye. See you soon. Right.
What did I put up?
For our YouTube watchers, why hasn't my screen changed? Look at that. When in doubt, sage it out. I went to a crystal shop this weekend, and they just gave me sage, which was fun. And I'm going to use it wearing my When in Doubt, Sage It Out shirt. That's right here.
What color you get? I'll get the opposite. because
Ooh.
there's one of it on black and one of it on white.
Well, I am notorious of spilling every single thing that goes into my mouth onto my shirt. So I'm going to get the black one because the white one will last me exactly one wear.
Perfect. And I will get the white one to match my very pale complexion. Ironic because I am part Brazilian. So
Perfect.
that one will be perfect. There we go. And you know what? I want the mug.
The mug is
So then you
nice.
can have the sticker,
Perfect.
little bit of
Yeah.
everything. Keep the spirits at bay while
Mm-hmm.
looking stylish.
Heck yeah.
What more could you ask for?
All right. Thank you for
Oh, yeah.
watching our YouTube videos. Come check out our t-shirt. It keeps the podcast running and alive. And now we're going to go back to trying to figure out what the hell a Domovoi is. Alrighty.
Welcome back, campers. We hope you enjoyed that little break. We are now going to talk about the appearance and some fun information because this was one of those topics there wasn't a lot of history with it or stories, but there was a lot of information about them specifically, which was really interesting shift from our normal show note layout. So I made it work. So the Domovoi can appear as a little woman, but most commonly appears as a little man just under 1 foot tall. It is covered in very thick hair ranging in colors of yellow, gray, or brown, and sometimes will sport a nice white beard. There is no hair around its eyes or its nose and appears to have wrinkly skin and glowing bright eyes. At times, it is even seen with a small tail or tiny little horns. The Domovoi can be seen sporting the latest issue of Gnome Monthly with a red shirt, blue belt, or a blue kaftan with a rose-colored belt, or some basic working clothes and a nice cloak. So when you think basic gnome, this is it. This is the fashion sense, just covered in hair. And not only do they have this hairy human form, but they're also known to manifest into a collection of multiple forms. So the first is a snake, which is their most common symbolization. So, that's all I could really find to explain it.
Yeah, they do seem slithery.
Yeah, so, they'll just use a snake to symbolize it in the house, I guess. Again, lots of translation stuff this week, you guys. Then, of course, we got cat, dog, a pig, a bird, a calf or baby cow, and then we have a bear.
Nice.
And this is one I don't think, because all the others are kind of small animals. And I feel like a bear was it just trying to impress someone at one point.
Perhaps it was a small bear, like a koala or like a red panda.
In medieval Europe, it would turn into a rat.
They're like, what the hell is that thing?
It's I'm not going to keep this form up. This is too much conversation. It can also change into human appearances. So it can turn into the master of the house or into any of the departed ancestors of the given family in the home.
So when it becomes the master, is it just like a 1 foot tall version of the master, or is it like a full size?
It goes full size master, because that would be absolutely hilarious to have a little Barbie version of my great grandma.
A little more.
Just it's hey, listen here, and you look over at what you think is your deceased parent, and they're really just a 1 foot Barbie doll, and you're I don't feel threatened by you.
Perhaps Barbie dolls are Domovois.
Barbies are Domovois. That's the episode title, maybe. We'll see. I'm liking it more in my head than saying it out loud. So the Domovoi is an introverted guardian spirit that only comes out at night and is known for both its kind and vengeful personality. So it shows kindness by helping around the house and watching over the family, and is also goes out of its way to regulate behavior in the home. And it will do it even to an extreme. So anecdote. Oh, that's how I say it. So, one anecdote tells of a peasant woman who left the house without a scarf covering her hair to admire the night sky. The Domovoi then grabbed the woman by her braid and dragged her up into the attic as punishment for violating conventions of peasant life.
Yeah.
Little extreme. They're also much more aggressive if one gets on their bad side. So that's not even on their bad side. That's them just regulating. So if they feel any displeasure with the family's actions, they will cause trouble on the farm or make strange knocking and grating noises in the house, which can feel a lot like poltergeist activity. So there are even tales of these little spirits choking the residents of the home at night. This behavior, though very aggressive, is not always interpreted as malevolent, and the choking is rather their being playful.
Which I don't know about that one, Chief.
I think this is something that didn't age too well.
Yeah.
And the idea of a Domovoi accidentally choking family members and finding out which ones have the weird kink for it is not going to be a great night for anyone in the family. The Domovoi is like, this was supposed to be a prank, but now I feel uncomfortable. And it just makes me laugh so hard. I like it, like getting uncomfortable to be like gross and like offended and leaving the room.
Go now, yeah.
It's like, this was fun, but you took it way too far, bro. I love it so much. So now it's really easy to get on their bad side because they can be easily offended. So the best way to handle this is to give them some gifts or sacrifices. I got a good old handy dandy list.
Oh,
do you want to popcorn it?
Yeah, we can popcorn it. Okay. So, number 1, place a bread, milk, or leftovers from the evening meal near the stove as an offering.
Give them some good old tobacco.
Classic. Offer them the first slice of bread cut from the first dinner in the new house. See, the first slice of bread's the worst. The first and last slice of bread are the worst. You get more crust than bread. And some lore says to bury that bread in the courtyard. That was just an excuse for people to get rid of the worst slice of bread.
Or maybe that was the Domovoi that would keep getting the first slice of bread and was like,
perhaps
if you bury it, I would like it so much more.
Yeah.
So he's trying to be like, listen, we can make this better for both of us. The next is a slice of bread strewn with salt, wrapped in a white cloth, and placed in the hallway or courtyard while members of the king bowed towards the 4 directions, reciting prayers to the Domovoi. This is very complex version of a bub step. So it's how creative you're feeling that day, I guess.
Bury a small cloak under the floor of the house because everyone loves that new shiny outfit.
Gotta flex on the other house spirits in the neighborhood. Treat the house with respect and keep it maintained. I don't need to read that.
Oh, okay. Don't ever use bad language, especially during meals.
I like to think it's like, don't use what the last person in your family died would consider bad language.
Yeah.
And we'll get more into why, but keep that in mind because it could mean anything to anyone,
I never.
That could be enough for someone,
Yeah.
When moving, remember to invite them into the new home and not to leave them stranded.
Yep. So this one, before leaving, remember to sit on the lane, which sitting on the lane is a Russian tradition, which means spending a few minutes of silence sitting down before a long journey connected with the Domovoi. According to the legend, Domovoi does not like to be alone. If alone, it will hide or take the owner's belongings. Thus, the owners are trying to deceive the Domovoi, pretending that they will not leave their place of residence for a long time. A little obsessive.
Sorry, I saw the picture you posted in our document. I don't know how you make memes so fast. That's like anyway, we'll finish this and we'll get to that. Get cattle, poultry, dogs, and cats in their favorite hue. So each Domovoi has their favorite color, and it's important for the family to try and get all their cattle, poultry, dogs, cats in this hue. So in order to find out what its favorite color is, the peasants take a piece of cake on Easter Sunday and wrap it in a rag and hang it up in the stable. At the end of 6 weeks, they will look to see what color the maggots are. Oh. This is going to be the Domovoi's favorite color,
Ew.
Which is disgusting. But listen, there's got to be a Q&A you can write. I think if you wrote it on a sticky note and provided a little pencil or like a box of crayons, and it's like, which is your favorite? They'll figure it out. That meme was absolutely magical, Ryan. It was Barbie, but
I put it up on the screen for a second there.
It's my favorite. It's Barbie for all our audio listeners, and she like has her hands up looking all super cute, and the font, instead of saying Barbie in text, it says Domovoi. So it will be up as a meme, and I love it. I was a very Barbie girl growing up, and I am quite proud of it because she made me very happy. Okay, so these are all great ways to get on its good side. But let's say in the worst case scenario, a resentful Domovoi is in the home. It's important to sacrifice a cock at midnight. Did you just put nice in there? At midnight, and then sprinkle the nooks and corners of the common hall or courtyard with the animal's blood. Again, this is the worst case scenario because if provoked, they will harass the homeowner by placing a goat skull under his home's threshold.
That is the worst case scenario.
Worst case.
Yeah.
And that's because they fucking hate goats. Like, that's it. Like, they don't like goats. To be fair, when we were going over like the animal responsibilities, none of them there's none for taking care of goats. It's for cows and pigs and horses. Yeah.
So the Domovoi is for sure just like, I mean, you said it earlier, like it's like a bunch of different like types of the same thing, but there's just like so many different things that it's, I don't know how to say this, like people were just winging it when they came up with the Domovoi. Like someone just said one time, like, I don't think they like goats, and people are like, yeah, that's probably right.
The more I think about it, the more the Domovoi is like Barbie, where it has all of these things it does, all of these career aspirations, all of these different aspects to it, but it's still one essence. Yeah. It's Barbie.
Yeah,
because she's got all of her careers. She's got all the different versions of her roaming around, But that is Barbie. So to me, they're the same thing.
Same thing.
Same exact thing, and they're both about a foot tall. So if you see a Barbie running around your house, don't be scared because it may just be a Domovoi, and that's okay.
I'd like to replace my modern takes with just the Domovoi is Barbie. That is all.
I think I even wait. Listen, I have like an aerial Barbie doll like within a foot of me. You guys, I really love Barbie.
An aquatic Look at my Domovoi. They take care of aquariums if you let them.
She actually, I'll hear flopping at night, and that's actually what it is. It's just the sound of her just getting tossed around. Anyway, now you may be wondering, if they are this temperamental, why would anyone want them in their house? Well, that's because of their deep connection with the household. So They are essential to the peasant home, like Barbie is to mine, apparently.
Yeah.
So when a family would move into a new home, they would put the ashes into a jar and bring it with them. So the ashes from the stove. And they would say, "Welcome, grandfather, to the new." It was also important that the eldest entered the new home first, and that's because the first to enter a new home was the next to die and become the Domovoi.
Well, that's a little dark.
Now, Ryan's right, because when I say next to die, I mean it's going to happen pretty quick. So, to prevent the immediate death of the oldest family member, you would need to sacrifice a goat, fowl, or a lamb and bury it under the first stone or log set.
Well, I thought they don't like goats.
That's why.
Oh.
Like, it's so they can build a house on their enemies, I guess.
Gotcha. All right, that's fair.
And I don't know what a fowl is, but I guess a lamb can kind of look like a goat if you're drunk enough. So they're like roughly the same height.
Yeah, a fowl is like not a chicken, but it's just like a wild bird.
Oh, maybe they got into some beef with some fowls. I just feel like this is a lot of like generational war shit that they're just
fowls
really
are about
trying
their
to...
size, so I mean, they probably like yeah, they've been fighting for a long time. The Great Fowl War.
You go to his house behind the stove, and there's like an ancient painting carved of them and the fowls. It's like the style of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker with the stained glass. It's like the goat, the fowl, and the Domovoi in the triangle.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Good. Wow, my brain is doing great today. But so this would prevent immediate death. And then when the oldest member of the family would eventually die, they would become the next Domovoi of the house. Typically, the head of the household was represented by a man, but if it could be either a woman or a man. So it doesn't matter. It's just who's ever the oldest. They do not discriminate. Now, in the off chance the house was abandoned or even burned to the ground, it would sadly remain behind. Then, if a new family ever showed up, they can choose to either, the Domovoi specifically, can choose to reject or accept the family. And typically, this was fought out not between the family, but between the two Domovois. So the abandoned one and the family's one would throw hands, and the winner would take possession of the household and care for the family while the vanquished one would leave. And I love that so much.
Yeah.
Just the idea of it walking in shame and the toughest one surviving is pretty badass to me. Oh no. Oh, how do you make these so quick? You guys, Ryan just did a caveman painting with the flock bird and put it in the chat. I don't understand how you can make them so quick, Ryan.
This is why people need to watch our live shows. They're missing out.
Don't know how you do that. That's exactly what I pictured. I love that so much. Are you saving these so I can use them?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Because my brain is really lagging right now.
Everyone will see these posted for our audio listeners. Just check our social media. They'll all be there. Ryan
having access to Canva is a blessing. That's all I can say. They're also one of our sponsors, so I can use their name, and it's fine. So why these spirits were so connected to the home was because of their household responsibilities and their spiritual presence. So they only come out at night when everyone's asleep to check on the family and perform their daily tasks. They usually stay hidden from human sight and prefer dwellings in dark corners of the homestead, especially near the stove. Mm-hmm. Daily tasks include watching over chickens or livestock, making sure the animals aren't going hungry, and even stealing from the neighbors if they must.
That makes my story make so much more sense. So the Domovoi was stealing his water to give to the neighbor's horse.
Yes.
Okay. See, sometimes you need a little background. That's the downside of not reading the background before I read my stories because I want to be surprised.
Right.
Sometimes I don't know what the hell is going on.
But if we read the background after the stories, it
It all
makes the
comes
story
together.
so much funnier
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So that's why we switched it. Because I feel like when I was telling everything before, it was like, oh, well, this all makes sense.
Yeah.
But now we're like, why the hell is
Yeah.
this happening?
Why is he's mad his neighbor's horse is getting watered? Like, what's. Got
It's
it.
like, let them drink.
Suddenly, the farmer's not such a bad guy.
So the farmer seems like he's just going through a lot
Yeah.
and way more relatable. And also, the spirits will make sure to take care of their favorite animals by grooming them, giving them extra stacks, braiding their manes, or giving them fresh water, as we have learned.
Oh.
So now, just because they help with the animals doesn't mean they have to take care of them. If a farm animal is being aggressive towards them, they will neglect or even harass the beast to get them to leave. So they're petty as fuck.
Love
And
it.
as a Pisces, I must say, they seem a lot like a Pisces because they're just a very match the energy. And I love it so much.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I'll be nice. Yeah, that's great. And the moment someone's like, I'm gonna be a dick, they're like, I can be more of a dick.
Watch me.
I love it so much. I'll get into their emotional connection. You'll be like, oh, it is a lot like a Pisces, but it just made me laugh so much. So they also have a discreet presence that can be felt in many different ways. For example, through the sound of their footsteps or when things in the house are being moved around at night. And you know, when your pets have zoomies in the late hours, that's the Domovoi playing with them.
Oh. Well, that's actually a little terrifying.
Oh, I think it's cute.
I don't know. One of my stories, they burned the house down, so I don't.
Not that cute.
Yeah, not that cute.
I think the thought of a little Domovoi playing with my little rabbit Lumba at night
cute.
is very cute because she like has I made her one of those like big cages, and I like close the door, but I don't lock it because when I had a lock on it, she learned how to break the lock and then I put another lock and she learned how to open the lock.
Yeah.
And she's not in there all day. She's in there when I go to bed. So at night now, I just like will close the door for her. And I have seen her open the door when she thinks I'm not looking, get out of her cage, do her little zoomies, and then I'll make it sound like I'm coming over to her. And she'll stop, run in her cage, and close the door. Rabbits are too smart, you guys. So anyway, I just think that's adorable. The fact that he's probably helping her out to close the door and
yeah,
so she doesn't get caught. Another way its presence is felt in the home is when it touches a person with its hands, or a man may wake up to find his beard has been braided very nicely. So those are regarded to be signs of good fortune and for the Domovoi's love for the family. So, though it is very helpful around the home, the most important thing about it is its connection with the household's family. So, Domovoi are deeply connected with the family of the home and do everything they can to protect them. These spirits will warn them of bad omens, such as plagues, to deaths, to war, or any type of threat to the welfare of the home. They will even stop witches from stealing cows, which apparently was a really big problem to find it in multiple articles,
I believe it,
and help stop forest spirits from playing pranks on the family. So, before a war, a plague, or a fire breaks out, the Domovoi leaves their house and assembles in the meadow to lament. If misfortune to the family is pending, it will warn them by making knocking sounds, riding the horses at night until they are exhausted, or making the watchdogs dig holes in the courtyard and howl throughout the village. So, this is a lot like banshees too. Again, I feel like Domovoi have a lot of every
Is blamed everything on the Domovoi.
Right. And one of the reasons it's known to wail like a banshee is because it is very deeply empathetic. So when the head of the family dies, it can be heard wailing through the night. And it's also very protective of the children and the animal in the home, making sure they are always safe. It also believed if a family member sees its true form of the spirit, it's a bad omen to warn of one's impending death. So, very banshee energy we got going on right there.
Yeah.
And though often single, sometimes these little guys want to settle down too. The Domovoi is very family based and at times will even grace the house with their own little family. The Kikimora and occasionally the Domi Girl are said to be the wife of this spirit. So, and then there was like the female version we were talking about at the top of the episode. So, one tale from the Smolisk province holds that a home's residents might hear a Domovoi's baby crying somewhere in the house. And if a rag were thrown over the place of which the child's cry came, the Domika would be unable to find her baby and would answer any question asked of her in order to secure its return to her. Now, you may be asking, why the hell would someone try to hide another person's baby? Now, listen, if you're wanting some dirt on the family, if you're wanting some of the hot tea that's going on, if you do this, it will tell you anything you want to know. So that's how people would like get dirt on families. They would wait till one got comfortable enough to have a family, have a kid, and then pretty much kidnap, not kidnap the kid for dirt on the family.
Jesus.
So yeah, so pretty wild. I know there was a lot of funny stuff to go on for that because there's just a shit ton of information.
Yeah.
But don't you worry because the next section is one of our favorites. It is time for, is it science or the church?
So I think it was like the second sentence you said this this show that I called it. I'm gonna go with the church on this one. Because I mean it's a little house elf that is definitely gonna be accused of being a demon.
Yep. You can have this one. And you've learned to catch the subtle phrases. You've learned. So now I have to evolve in writing more tricky notes. So that means anyone new listening and starting on this episode is going to have no idea what those keywords are. So go back and follow along in Ryan's journey because you've been killing it. You've been crushing it. And I'm really proud of you.
Say it, but yeah, I kind of have been.
And then I'll do a compilation of all the times you haven't guessed right now. No. I don't have time where I totally
30
would.
of the 44 episodes.
It just like it's a ding in the corner, like
yeah.
So it was the church. So it wasn't long until Christianity would try and make a move on the Domovoi belief system. So during the 7th century, as Christianity started to move into Eastern Europe, there was an intermingling of faith and culture which resulted in a phenomenon called, I'm going to say it wrong, Doivorvery, or translated to dual faith, which is the orthodox and pagan belief birthed by a popular spirituality where dark and light, clean and unclean, and beneficial and harmful dictated custom. So as a result, this belief was taken 2 different ways. Okay, so I'll explain that because I know that was a lot I just threw at you.
Yeah.
So one was Orthodox Christianity, which in short is the belief that Christian faith and the church are not separable. Like you have to believe in both at the same time. Versus the original intent of dual faith, which is a majority of peasants practiced. This was the belief and celebration of, quote, anti-world, end quote, phenomenon. So, which is a super churchy word that says pagan beliefs and celebrations in connection with Christianity. So, to help close the gap and get more people to convert to Christianity, house spirits and nature spirits were categorized into beneficial and harmful, aka clean and unclean. For example, unclean spirits were like the devil, Leshy, Rusolka, and at times Domovoi, while clean spirits were saints, angels, and also sometimes the Domovoi. Now, with this constant debate on where the Domovoi stood, it made it difficult for Christianity to fight against the folklore beliefs, and in the end, they had to accept this wee little folk into their church. So, plus, the common people weren't just going to toss away their ancestral beliefs of generations. You know, like, they're like, no, like, what are you talking about? So, this resulted in the common people managing to let the Domovoi and Christian faith coexist with ease. For instance, when a family moved into a new home, they would invite a priest to not only bless the home, but they would also make sure to invite the Domovoi in. So I love this because it's the blending of the two belief systems. And they're like, we're not going to let go our family history. And I think, because I feel like a lot of times, like, especially Christianity can just come and really wipe things off the board.
Yeah,
and it makes me very sad. Because again, that's the whole thing. That's not the true intent of what it should be, right? But that's what happens, sadly, because people are power hungry. So I love this because it's a blend of both beliefs, and it's still a big part of it to this very day. So I know this episode wasn't as funny, but I absolutely loved all like the information about these and the history. So that's all I got for today.
Well, I still have something. Welcome to Modern Takes with Ryan. And this was definitely the easiest modern take we've ever done. So you know how most of this was like, yeah, Domovoi's, you know, not that bad. Pretty good guys. Right? Would you agree with that for the most part?
Oh, yeah. I don't think they're bad at all.
Yeah. So let me tell you something. On March 30th, and I looked for such a long time to find the name of this holiday. I couldn't.
No.
On March 30th, the Domovoi turn evil for one whole day from dawn until midnight. At this time, the house will creak, pipes will wail, pots will bang, wind will howl, and the windows and doors will swing open. And to stop this, the best way is to leave a bribe that, like we discussed earlier, you know, some bread, some tobacco, a small cloak under the house to stop it. That's my spot. Okay. And in the Tomsk government, which was like the old ancient Russian government, on the eve of the Epiphany, the peasants would place in a certain part of the stove little cakes that were made expressly for the Domovoi. In other places, a pot of stewed grain is set out on the evening of the 28th of January. So basically, a couple days a year, they just go a little wild, you know. They just have a good. It's spring break for the Domovois.
they
let
loose.
Yeah. That being said, this is modern takes with Ryan, so we had to figure out how do we make this modern. They're basically just gremlins for one day a year. Therefore, the gremlins are obviously Domovois, and this is definitely not me just really trying to retcon this in like I did with Bigfoot and Gilly Doo. This is a confirmed, alluring fact that, yeah, the gremlins are Domovois. That is
no
all
fake
I have.
Folklore news.
Yeah, in other folklore news, yeah, there was Kimmy found this holiday, and I looked for a solid 3 hours trying to find like why March 30th. There was nothing. It was just like, nope, that day for some reason.
I don't know what it is because
Yeah.
it's not connected with a solstice.
Nope. Nothing
Which is
happens
norm.
on March 30th.
I don't know. I just think they're Pisces. You know what I think it is? I'm gonna be real with you. I think all Domovoi are Pisces. Cause is that Pisces season? Oh
I
shit,
don't
no,
know.
that's Aries. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe all Domovoi are Aries, and I've been wrong this whole time. And they get mad because that's their birthday and that's their holiday, but no one celebrates it.
Yeah.
So they lose their shit because no one remembers. And
That's
because they're losing
possible.
their shit, they can't communicate that it's their holiday, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just chaos.
My theory was, according to nationalholidays.com, March 30th is National Folding Laundry Day. So it's the only day a year you're supposed to fold your laundry, I guess. And the Domovoys just really don't like laundry. That's my
Like goats.
yeah. Like laundry is like right below goats, and it's close.
That checks out. Wow,
Yeah.
that wasn't a stretch at all, I think.
No, I think completely accurate. Definitely
Correct.
true to the lore.
They even look the same.
They
There
even
is
look the same.
you can't spot the difference at all, you guys. They look
Yeah.
the exact same. There is no difference.
Oh, and I guess
Tomatoes,
yeah.
tomatoes.
Ooh, they're also Barbie.
They're also bar.
Yeah.
I love it so much. That was my favorite. Okay. Wow. That was an information dump episode. We haven't done one of those in a good while.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get on to our announcements and then talk about whatever the hell's going on in the Aloreing live chart.
I got a real short one for you today. Kind of the same thing I said last week. If you could head over to iTunes and just write us a 5-star review, it really helps raise that our podcast on the platform. If you don't have iTunes, Spotify works, or both. If you have both, for a direct link to either of these, check out our show notes or visit aloreing.com/links. Easy enough.
Easy peasy. And I have finally done it. A few of you have been like, "Hey, Kimmy, I've noticed your recent episode illustration stickers haven't been in the shop." And you are correct, because I haven't done it until yesterday. So if you go to our shop today, you'll see that all the episode illustrations I have created are now stickers in our lovely little shop. So you can get even the Domovoi today as a
Wow.
cute little sticker to put behind your stove, maybe, if it's not a fire hazard and it's safe.
The
I'm
Domovoi
not sure.
appreciate stickers as a gift as well. That was one of the things we left off of our sacrifice list was stickers.
Oh,
So
that's the most important
yeah, I'd say that's
thing.
probably number one.
So go get a sticker to appease the Domovoi so you don't get any goat bones
Yeah,
in your
no
house,
one
you
wants
know.
goat bones in their house. They might sacrifice your cock. You don't want that. It's all bad.
Men be wary. So so go check out the shop. I've also I re-added the Sage It Out, when in doubt, Sage It Out collection for all of our OG listeners that have requested it because I didn't think anyone liked it, so I took it off. And then people are like, "Kimmy, where's the Sage It Out? Because now I can get it." Well, now it is back there and it is there to stay. So go get it. I am going to go get a Sage It Out tank top because that's what I want
That
in my
design
life.
has been around longer than I've been around on this podcast. So that's saying something.
That's in my I have like a very unique art style, I feel. Like you can tell all the stuff I make is from me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more of my like comic art style.
They're very
so
nice.
I personally like it. It's very clean lines. Everyone love it. There's even a tote bag with it. So anyway, go check out our shop. We do have a lot of really huge announcements. We're going to start talking about them next episode. But if you are on Patreon, you will be getting early access to it. So go check out our Patreon. If you're like, join a tier, I think our lowest is $3. If you're not sure how you feel about joining a tier, you can just follow us for a minute and kind of see, because I post downloadables all the time, and I have a pretty exciting welcome package, hint hint, coming up for all tiers. So if you're joined before a monthly celebration in May at a paying tier, you'll get an extra goodie in it. But that's all I'm saying. So
and I imagine by the time this episode comes out, they'll have seen photos, not of exactly what we're doing this weekend, but me and Kimmy are meeting up this weekend. We're finally gonna in person after quite a few years, and we're gonna be doing something very exciting, which I'm reading. We're not gonna talk about on this episode, but it's a coming. It's very excited. Keep an eye on social media, because I'm sure we'll be posting lots of stories while
we may
there.
make a TikTok together for the first time in like 4 years.
So if you're like, what the heck is Ryan talking about, since this episode's coming out in the future, just go check our old posts and you might kind of see what I'm talking about, because it's a very exciting. It's probably the most exciting thing we've done, and I'm very excited.
Listen, if you can find out any detail about the boy or girl your friend is currently seeing through like minimal description on Instagram, you'll be able to connect all the dots with our stuff easily.
It'll be very easy. Yeah, we're not going to be too
so much easy.
about it.
Like you can still feel spy-like when you're doing it, but it's all going to be there for you.
Yeah,
it's going to be great. Oh, okay.
All right.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's all of it. Here's our Aloreing alignment chart.
What did you write?
So
that's so tiny.
The one we're matching is normal. The one that is pure chaotic evil, that's on March 30th. Because for some, National Laundry Day really gets them going. And they just go pure off the rail evil.
You gotta iron the sheets. You gotta iron them. Yeah. They just rage.
Yeah, they didn't have dryers back then, you know? Like, when stuff got wrinkly, like, it got wrinkly.
You know, it's really weird when I feel there'll be moments of peace where you and I just really agree with something.
Yeah, we're going through a weird matching phase right now, and I don't really like it.
Yeah, what's our... Oh, don't worry with the next episode.
Yeah, we haven't done any hot or aquatic creatures in a while. So we
may have an aquatic one next time.
Yeah.
That is also hot.
But yeah, for our audio listeners, I put it just kind of pure chaotic, because it's really hard to tell, because some of my stories he's burning houses down, other ones he's tackling cats. But then in Kimmy's stories, it's like, oh, he was like cleaning the house and it's their ancestors. So it's really hard to tell. What we do know is they're just psychotic.
Yeah, I put mine just as chaotic, but I swung it a little bit more good, just because I feel when we have family that we connect with, we're a little bit more dismissive to the red flags, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like the crazy aunt getting a little too drunk at Christmas dinner. It's like, she's just going through it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's kind of
a little too much of her special juice.
Or it's like, Grandpa was in the war, so he says things he shouldn't say, but we still love him for it. You know what I mean?
Pure chaotic. Yeah. All right.
Straight up.
And then then I put it chaotic evil on March 30th specifically.
On March 30th. That was the one that actually burnt down the house. It was the same day.
Oh, it was on March 30th. Okay. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Well, don't worry. We got some hotties and aquatic creatures coming up. So I'm going to be swinging back to what feels right in a moment. Don't you worry. Oh, don't you worry. Speaking of which, send us your hot aquatic folklore suggestions.
I will say, just out of pure curiosity, I just Googled Domovoi, and I scrolled. There was nothing.
Everyone, there was a light in the heavens today, because God give me strength. I could not find in reading book synopsis to try to grab stories, I found no smut.
Well,
And I'm
yeah.
so proud.
See, we're saying the opposite. I'm saying there's an opportunity. You're saying you're happy. I'm disappointed, and I'm saying I hope one of our listeners makes some Domovoi smut, because there can't be. That's not fair for them not to have their own stories.
I think if anything, people are learning we have very different tastes
I mean, it's
right
in the
now.
name. It's called a dom. Like, come on. It's very simple. I'm just throwing it out there. Somebody do something.
They're like 1 foot tall, right? That's why they haven't done anything with it.
Height doesn't matter. They can figure it out.
Listen,
Kimmy, we've done fairies. Those things are like 2 inches tall. I've seen what you people do on the internet.
Ryan's just grouping me in with smut book TikTok right now,
Yes.
and I feel really attacked. And second of all, in the stories, those fae aren't like a foot tall, okay? They're like beautiful Lord of the Rings elf energy, okay?
Yeah,
So just to clarify, because I've read a lot, you guys, and I know what I'm talking about. So, but Ryan's right. Listen,
there's a severe
don't
lack of it on
don't
Google.
yuck someone's yum. The opportunity is there.
You could be page 1 of Google, is all I'm saying. Get it on your website.
Listen, if someone writes Domovoi smut, please send it to Ryan. We'll figure something.
Please, yeah, I'll read it for you. All right. Well, should we get to our takeaways?
Yeah. Man, I don't even know where to go with this one.
I got one. When a Domovoi is around, protect your cock.
And that goes back to the smut that Ryan was
It's a
so...
chicken. Get your mind out of the gutter.
and colorize your animals. I think.
Yeah, whatever that means. Get a colorful cow. So a colorful cow that's also a horse, so that the Domovoi doesn't steal it, I guess.
Dress your animals in rainbows.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sure. All right.
Pride pattern animals for the Domovoi.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the one. Oh my goodness. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been Aloreing. Is that what I say?
Yeah, you just have an absolutely alluring day, and we're going to catch you on the next episode where we talk about something a little hotter.